Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Bitcoin update. Today we are discussing quite a major move that's occurred in the last 24 hours. We've seen a move downwards on Bitcoin, digging really deep into that 24.5k to 25.2k support zone. If you don't know, that is the strongest support zone Bitcoin has seen for at least a year, if not 2 or 3 years since the bull market, just depending on your perspective. I would personally say we're leaning more towards 2 or 3 years, to be honest with you. It's a very major level. It's supported by 50-week SMA, supported by Gaussian channel, supported by basically a year long of retests. So right now is kind of nail biting for Bitcoin. It's very, very major. If we close a weekly candle below 24.5k, Bitcoin all of a sudden looks very bad from a macro perspective. It's very important that we hold above that level. And so the fact that we're digging deep into that level and even breaking down below 25k briefly yesterday is not very good. Now, we do have CPI coming up tomorrow, which is going to add even more volatility and going to make the price action very, very interesting to watch. So Bitcoin is in danger. I would not say that I'm overly bearish right now. I also wouldn't say I'm overly bullish. I'm actually taking more of a neutral stance, but I do have, regardless of my neutral stance, a very strategic plan. If it goes down, I'll do this. If it goes up, I'll do this. And I'll explain that at the start of this video. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Okay guys, welcome back. The charts we'll be discussing today is the Bitcoin 15-minute chart, looking into the recent move, the extent of that move, the downside price action we saw in the last 24 hours. The Bitcoin dominance chart, we'll be looking into the Bitcoin weekly chart, analyzing the ranges, analyzing the major support zone we are testing right now. We will be looking into the Bitcoin weekly chart, looking into bull market support band, 50-week SMA, Gaussian channel, 200-week SMA. Also the weekly chart RSI breakdown, which is putting Bitcoin in quite a dangerous position. We'll finally be looking into things like Ethereum. The uptrending line in Ethereum has a lot of foreshadowing capabilities for Bitcoin, and that is putting Bitcoin in danger as well. Bitcoin daily chart, obviously, which is entering its major support zone. We haven't quite seen a downtrend form yet. We're testing and forming a potential double bottom, but again, it's getting nail biting. It's risky territory. And finally, we'll be looking into things like Bitcoin monthly returns and also CPI. So let's get into it. So before we get into any of that, guys, check out the BingX and Bitget exchange. If you're looking for an exchange to trade cryptocurrency, it's time to get off all these exchanges that are under massive threat, massive attack from the SEC, etc. I know Binance has been going through a lot. For example, get on BingX. It's a non-KYC exchange. You can sign up from anywhere in the world with just an email address and a password. You can utilize this exchange to trade with very low fees. They've got reserves information released. They've got a protection fund on Bitget, for example. And you've got a promotion for BingX where you can spin this wheel and get a cash bonus, a USDT cash bonus. So go inside of the BingX with my referral link, 15% trading fee discount. And you can also get the 15% trading fee discount if you sign up to Bitget. The only thing with Bitget is it's a KYC exchange. And you can sign up from anywhere in the world except for the United States and Canada and Singapore. So anywhere except for those places you can do Bitget, and anywhere in the world you can do BingX. It depends on your personal preference. Obviously there's benefits and cons of KYC and non-KYC, so check those out if you're interested. Without further ado, let's dive into it, guys. Alright, so we'll start off by analyzing what's actually happened. Well, basically what we've done is we've moved downwards quite a lot. We've moved downwards in basically the last, 24 hours, but mainly the last 12 hours, really. The last 24 hours, we're down 4.3%, which is actually a big drop, okay? Especially when you're considering that the vast majority of that drop happened in a 25-minute period. We saw a 3% drop in a 25-minute period. That's actually quite massive. And in the same period of time that we saw that drop, and we'll look into where that drop has gone to, by the way, in a second, but we just want to get into what actually happened first. In the same time we saw that drop, we saw Bitcoin dominance on the daily candles, particularly on the daily candle, actually rise a bit. Okay, not too much, with that said, not too much. But overall, Bitcoin dominance did rise when Bitcoin dropped massively, and it was a small rise, but it was, 0.2%. It's there. It was there. And what that means is that the market is very much focusing on Bitcoin right now. The market isn't focused on altcoins. It's focused on Bitcoin, more so on Bitcoin. And why is that occurring? Well, Bitcoin is on a major level. In fact, one of the most major support levels it's been on since basically, back here in 18K. In fact, I'd say it's even more major than that, to be honest. 18K, the reason I say that is because we have the 200-week SMA and all that kind of stuff converging at that point in time as well. And also support from back here in December 2020. And also even back to 2017 all-time highs, which aren't showing up for some reason, but 2017 all-time highs were over here at the 18K, 19K region as well. So that region at 18K was very strong support, but that was almost a year ago, guys. So what we have right now is the strongest support in at least a year, if not stronger than what we saw a year ago. So basically, Bitcoin's on a major level. That major level is identified very clearly in this range-bound construction that I've drawn, this range-bound kind of analysis that I've done. What you can see is 3 distinctive red rectangles, okay? And they're all different colors. They're color-coded for a reason. They're color-coded because they represent different ranges in Bitcoin, different price ranges. For example, we have the first price range down here. We have the second price range over here. We have the third price range over here, okay? Right now, we're on the verge. All right, who knows if it's going to, whether it's going to happen or not is a different question. It's not who knows. Whether it happens or not is a different question, I should say. But right now, we're on the edge of dropping back into the orange price range. And if we do that, obviously that's very bearish for Bitcoin. Not only because we would have lost that, support and dropped back into a previous range, and now this would be resistance, but also because we would have lost everything that is implied with that support, which is multiple things that we'll look at in the weekly chart in a second, which is, bull market support band, Gaussian channel, 50-week SMA, 200-week SMA, all that would be very much gone. And we would have formed as well a very large double top formation, which would indicate further downside price action and potentially put us at risk of falling very low into this support range and potentially even retesting 18K, which, none of that would actually destroy the Bitcoin cyclical structure, because the cyclical structure on Bitcoin doesn't rely on these price levels. It relies on 15K, but it would certainly delay Bitcoin's upwards climb by a pretty long period of time, definitely for the rest of 2023. So, we have to be very vigilant, and we have to be looking out for exactly what's happening here. This level is not something to be joked around about. This 24.5K weekly candle support level is not something we can kid around about. This is a major, major level. It is basically the line in the sand. And unfortunately, Bitcoin is entering a danger zone now. Because not only, and look, this green box is 24.5K to 25.2K. The bottom of the green box is the major level. 25.2K is also the support level, as you can see on the chart, just by looking at the green rectangle historically and looking at where we are now. Bitcoin's in danger now because we're digging into the support for the first time. Since basically over here in June, where we resistance support flipped on it, we're digging into the support. Now, luckily for Bitcoin, we haven't formed a lower low yet. And what that means is that we're still in an uptrend technically, because basically what an uptrend is in any financial market or any chart is basically just higher lows, right? And higher highs. That's an uptrend. And technically speaking, we haven't formed a lower low yet. A lower low would be down here because you have the last low over here. So technically speaking, Bitcoin is not in an established downtrend yet. And so therefore, it's quite hard to say that Bitcoin is in a macro bearish position, because it's not in a downtrend yet, and it's still on the major support zone, but it's certainly threatening to enter a downtrend. We have a death cross between the 50 SMA and the 200 SMA that just crossed, and on the same candle that crossed, we saw a big red downside candle, 4% negative candle. That's not good to see. Daily chart death crosses are not particularly accurate, but I mean, this one clearly has been accurate to an extent. We then also, we've lost things like bull market support band, we've lost things like all that, and we'll look into all that in a second, but mainly what I want to look into is the close itself. What I can see is that although we've come down into this support box, and although we're clearly in danger by doing that, we haven't actually formed a new low. As I just said, we haven't formed a new low. We haven't formed a new low on the wick, and we haven't formed a new low on the daily candle close itself. So we're just actually, what we're doing right now is we're kind of putting in a chance here that Bitcoin can reach a double bottom, okay? There is a chance that Bitcoin does that. And I'm not going to sit here and say that it's a tiny chance, because I don't think it is. But I'm also not going to sit here and say that I'm more confident it's going to happen than not. I actually don't know what Bitcoin is going to do here. And I'll say that confidently. And I think that's the most honest thing I can say. I don't know what Bitcoin is going to do here. And I don't think I need to know. I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I won't waste too much time saying it today. I don't think my opinion on Bitcoin is relevant. What is relevant is my reaction. And my reaction is this. And this is the reaction that I would be taking if I was in another person's boots, right? I would simply, if I was holding Bitcoin currently, I would simply be holding right now. If we lost this level on a weekly candle close, that is when you consider de-risking, okay? I would potentially, if I was a high-risk trader, which I'm not doing personally, but some people might want to, I would potentially even be looking for buys here with a tight stop loss, understanding that there is a pretty high chance that that stop loss gets triggered, okay? There's a couple things. And then also, if you're a conservative trader, you'd be waiting for a breakout above all these yellow lines up here, which are relevant resistance zones, before buying again. But as of right now, I would not be entering short positions at all. I would not be entering, I'll repeat that, I would not be entering short positions at all in this price range. This is not where you enter shorts. You don't enter shorts and support, and you don't enter longs and resistance. That is a stupid thing to do. You wait for the breakout. The breakout is very small percentage away. It's only 2% drop. There's no reason to enter a short right now, shorting 2% higher with a 50% greater risk of it not working out. There's absolutely no reason to do that. Wait for the breakdown. We're right on support. There's no reason to be shorting right now. And there's no reason to be selling, in my opinion. This is me personally. You guys can do whatever you want. But in my opinion, I wouldn't be selling any Bitcoin position right now either. I'd be waiting for the breakdown before de-risking. Remember, you do not panic at support. You remain vigilant at support. In the same way you don't panic at resistance, you don't panic at support. There's a reason why we weren't buying up here, okay? It's the same logic why we're not selling down here. It's very, very simple. That's how trading works. It doesn't matter what your bias is. It doesn't matter. Even if I was 90% sure that Bitcoin was going to go down tomorrow, even if I was 90% sure that Bitcoin was going to drop down, I still would not be entering short positions here. I'd be waiting for the breakdown to occur. That is breakout trading, and that's the way that actual traders trade. Bitcoin, it's in a bad position for sure. We've broken down from a yellow uptrending line as well. We've broken down from a thing like the daily RSI. Daily chart RSI triangle's broken to the downside. That's not good either. Even on looking at weekly chart, right? We've got a few things that have gone wrong on the weekly chart. For example, we rejected from bull market support band. We broke down below it, rejected from it. That's very important. I'm not going to spend too much time looking into all the historical kind of tests of this thing because I've done it so many times in the past. You guys don't need to know that information. If you don't know by now, you've missed every video in the last 4 weeks, basically. But look, all I'm going to say is this bull market support band, this orange band, is very, very important for Bitcoin. It holds for support during uptrends. Just look at the chart. It holds for resistance during downturns. Right now, we've broken below it. That's not good to see. We saw a very strong weekly candle wick into that level, rejected very strongly, continued downwards at this point in time. Same thing is occurring with the green line. That is the 200-week SMA, rejected from it on that weekly candle as well. But we do have a couple of saving graces as well, right? It's not all negative, and this is why I'm not willing to say that Bitcoin is entirely bearish right now. I don't think it is. There are a few things that are looking okay. For example, the red line you see on the screen, the 50-week SMA is looking okay. That is a very major support line, resistance line on Bitcoin as well. Look at the chart that I'm showing you here. There's a couple rejections, couple bounces off this line. When we break above it, we go upwards massively. You hold it for support on multiple occasions. Okay, it's a very important line. And right now, that's sitting, where is it sitting? Well, it's sitting right on top of 24.5K. It's supporting, it's bolstering that support level. And another thing we can look at is Gaussian channel. And this is perhaps one of the more bullish indicators right now, or one of the more promising, I should say, or one of the indicators that's keeping Bitcoin a little bit optimistic in this situation. This is comprised of 3 separate bands. Look at the center band, the thickest band on this indicator, the Gaussian channel. Basically, whenever we move through the center band, we move through it properly in the direction of which we came from. So we move through the center of the line here, the center of the Gaussian channel here, and then we move through the entire band in the direction we came from very strongly. Happen again, we move through the center line, we move through the entire band in the direction we came from, staying above it for a long period of time, seeing dramatic moves, move through the center, move through the band, move through the center, move through the band. Happens over and over again. There's been 0 failures historically, and right now, we've moved through the center of the Gaussian channel. We moved through it all the way back here in March. We didn't see the long-term upside move we were meant to see that we've seen historically on every occasion. And now we're coming back down, and we're coming back for a retest of the band. Now, it's very important that we don't close below the center of the band because we have a 100% accuracy rate. All right, with moving through the center of the band equals moving through the band itself. So if we move through the center of this band on the weekly chart, we will move through with 100% accuracy rate historically, okay? We will move through the entire band itself, which would bring us down to a retest of the low 20K region, most likely at the absolute minimum. So it's very important we don't move through Gaussian channel center line. And luckily for us, the Gaussian channel center line is, again, bolstering 24.5K. So, there's a few reasons why I'm not willing to say, oh, Bitcoin's entirely bearish right now. I just don't believe it is. There's indicators that we can't deny. There's Gaussian channel, there's 50-week SMA. We can't deny these things. There's the sheer strength of the support zone itself at 24.5K. This is a level we've tested for resistance on two or three occasions. We've tested it for support on 2 occasions now. We've bounced off it both times. We can't just throw it out the window before it's gone. We have to wait for the decision. Now, I do believe that Bitcoin is in pretty big danger, okay? And that's not because I'm bearish, per se. I wouldn't call myself bearish right now. I also wouldn't call myself overly bullish. As I said, I'm neutral. But I think it's in danger because we're testing the level. We're right on top of a level. And we're right on top of a level in a pretty risky time in the market. We're right on top of the level as we are 24 hours or a day away from CPI release, okay? A day away from CPI release, which is basically bringing in a consensus of 3.6%, which is a rise in inflation, essentially. So a day away from CPI, which brings volatility in the market. We're also in the midst of September, which is the most red month you generally see for Bitcoin in terms of whether it's, not percentage red, but in terms of whether it's red or green. We've seen 80% of our Septembers historically on Bitcoin be red. And, that puts us in a bad position to begin with. So we're in the most red month Bitcoin as seen generally, which is September, the worst month for Bitcoin generally. And then we've got, a day away until CPI, which causes massive volatility, while we're sitting on this major support level. All right, yeah, we've got support. Yeah, we've got Gaussian channel 50-week SMA. And yeah, as I said, I'm not actually bearish right now. I wouldn't consider myself bearish. I'm simply waiting. But, to say that Bitcoin is not in danger is stupid. Of course it's in danger. And you can say that without being a bear, I think. Look, that's my opinion. I think Bitcoin's in danger. Weekly, daily chart RSI breakdown, weekly chart RSI breakdown, Gaussian channel trend with 100% accuracy rate is about to be tested. And that's obviously a slightly bullish thing, but it's certainly nail biting. And that's kind of the whole premise of Bitcoin is nail biting price action right now. We're on the edge of a cliff, quite literally. Another thing I want to look at really quickly is Ethereum. Okay, Ethereum is quite interesting right now because the Ethereum chart actually sometimes predicts where Bitcoin is going to go. All right, and you might think, that doesn't make sense, Wolf. What are you talking about? Well, I'll tell you right now, it does. Okay, let's delete everything on the Bitcoin chart. Now, what you'll see on this chart here, this is the regular Bitcoin linear chart. We have a support line that was forming over here, okay? In fact, let's go to the logarithmic because it's on the logarithmic chart. We have a support line that was forming on Bitcoin like this. Okay, that was the support line. It was very strong. It still even played out after we dropped below it very briefly. It played out over here. Okay, when we lost it, we went downwards massively. It was very clearly a valid logarithmic support line. But what you'll notice is we actually went below the support line very briefly over here. We went below the support line, and we also dropped below, as you can see, a descending wedge formation on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was in a breakdown. Bitcoin was actually in a breakdown over here in around June. Okay, the reason why we bounced is because we found the support on Ethereum. We found the support on the Ethereum logarithmic chart. That's why we bounced. We tested that support level on Ethereum and we went upwards from there. All right, on the Ethereum linear chart, sorry. As you can see, we bounced off that support line on Ethereum. We tested that on 4 occasions before. All right, 5 occasions if you're including 2 weeks here. 5 occasions before we bounced off of it there. While Bitcoin was in the midst of a breakdown, it's Ethereum support line that led us to believe that we were going to see a market bounce, and we were able to predict that we were going to see a market bounce, and we were able to keep our position in Bitcoin and basically not throw out our Bitcoin bags too early. That's why we went upwards. Ethereum told us we were going upwards. Now, Ethereum, unfortunately, has an uptrending logarithmic line stemming back from June 2022, tested again in November, that it is just broken down below. Not only is it broken down below the logarithmic line, it's also broken down below this descending channel formation in red. And what we can see is we've just seen a breakdown. We've just edged below that line. And on this daily candle close, we've come back up and we're seeing a resistance support flip right now. Now, I cannot stress to you how important it is that Ethereum gets back above at least one of these lines. It is absolutely critical. What we don't want to be seeing is a resistance support flip and further downside price action on Ethereum, because that will lead to a breakdown on Bitcoin most likely. As we have seen in the past, Ethereum is quite important in determining, or at least foreshadowing, what happens with Bitcoin, okay? There's a reason why we saw Bitcoin break downwards while Ethereum was still on support. That's foreshadowing right there. It was foreshadowing that Bitcoin was going to hold. Okay, it could be the same situation here. It could be that Ethereum's broken down before Bitcoin does. This could be an indication that Bitcoin could break down. Now, obviously, it's speculative and it's very hard to take seriously. We have to rely on the Bitcoin chart and the Bitcoin chart alone, but this is an indicator for sure. And so the fact that it's an indicator, the fact that it's worked in the past, means that it's very important that Ethereum jumps back above these support zones, or at least one of them, at least the red line, for example, right? And the fact that we're testing these downside levels, these upside levels for resistance right now, and they're perfectly being tested for resistance, and we're not wicking above them or wicking below them, it shows us that it's valid. And it shows us that Bitcoin is now in a dangerous situation, not only because of the Bitcoin charts, but also because of what we're seeing on the Ethereum charts. So I would definitely say, and this is where I'll wrap up the video, and let me go back to my Bitcoin chart and bring back all the lines that I had before so I don't lose them. But I would definitely say that Bitcoin is in danger right now. But I would not say I'm bearish, because I can't be bearish on a major support level. This is one of the most major support levels that Bitcoin has seen for, at least a year, potentially even years, right? This is a very, very major support level. I will not sit here and say that I believe Bitcoin will break down from this support level. I simply cannot say that. I don't think I can say that honestly as an analyst, and that's because we have a 100% accurate Gaussian channel trend that says we shouldn't. Okay, it's very hard for me to just ignore it. But I'm not going to sit here and say I'm bullish either. Right now, I think the only position I can take is I'm neutral. And I know people get kind of annoyed when I say things like that because they're like, oh no, you're meant to be saying up or down. It's like, no, that's not the job of a trader. The job of a trader is not really to have an opinion on the market. The job of a trader is to have plans. That's basically what it is. I have a plan for upside. I have a plan for downside. It doesn't matter what my opinion is. The fact of the matter is my opinion, my thoughts on the market don't make me money. My actions do. And I have an action plan for each scenario. If we drop below on a weekly candle close, the major support level, and we enter the previous range, I will potentially be de-risking my position or entering shorts. If we remain above it, I will be holding. If we break above critical lines like bull market support band, I will most likely be stacking my bag again. That is my plan. It doesn't matter what my opinion is. Can you see how that makes sense? My plan is there regardless of my opinion. So why does my opinion matter? And that's something I've tried to emphasize on this channel for a long period of time. But unfortunately, people who don't understand trading won't understand that. But if you do understand that, good luck. Or good job, I should say. You're on the first step to understanding how trading actually works. So, guys, thank you for watching the video. Before we end the video, I want to give a quick shout out to the VIP group on Telegram. We have a VIP information and results group on Telegram, which shows you basically everything the VIP group does. We have multiple trading plans per week, immediate access to all the pending trades if you join, 24/7 group chat and more. We got trading tips, news, updates, etc. The prices are on here. The results are on here for 79% win rate. Check it all out. It's on Telegram, description below. And we finally have the Crypto Academy Become a Trader course. This will teach you how to trade, teach you everything you need to know about charts and analysis, and you can read up all about it on the website. So if you're interested in learning about trading and learning about how to become a trader, as per the course name, Become a Trader, you can check out the website and ultimately throw us an email. Ask us any questions you have about the course, ask us for information, we'll send it all back to you, and we'll send you the payment information as well if you're interested in signing up. So, guys, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video. Maybe by tomorrow we'll see some dramatic price action on Bitcoin, who knows, we do have CPI coming up, so it's quite an important 24 hours, quite an important week, because the weekly candle is closing in 6 days. So, guys, thanks for watching, cheers.